folks, how's it going? I just got back from a city council meeting last night where they were discussing the Commerce Center development for Grant 23rd that very understandably a lot of the citizens that live in that very much residential area have a problem with. There were a lot of concerns. A lot of people showed up to the meeting. They stood up and they spoke. They don't want trucks going up and down the street where their kids play, which makes sense. They don't want the noise pollution, which makes sense. They don't want the truck pollution, which I don't necessarily agree with because I have had a career in sales and logistics, and knowing the trucking industry like I do and having a business in it, I'm aware of the fact that those trucks aren't just going to sit there and idle all day. They hit a dock, they get loaded, they leave. So I'm not really too concerned about that, and I don't necessarily agree with that concern, but I definitely agree with the noise pollution and the concern about the children's safety. Kids just don't know what they're doing and they'll run out in front of a truck. It'll happen. What most people don't really know about this whole situation is that there was already another opportunity for this particular business to be set up on Industrial Highway. And this is something that our city continues to mess up over and over again. There have been, and most people don't know this, there have been many businesses that have tried to enter Gary, Indiana, commercial businesses that would provide jobs for our city and a tax base for our city. As some people are aware of and some are not, a commercial pays a 3% tax. So, I mean, that's huge when it comes to adding to our city budget to get warehouses, factories, logistics companies, and things like that into our city. And as I said, they keep trying to get in, and this is what happens. This deal is a great example of it. So they had another location already ready to go, already approved by the developer, by the city on, I believe it was 6200 Industrial Boulevard here in Gary, Indiana. So Industrial Boulevard, obviously, it's commercially zoned. It's commercially zoned. It's a commercial truck route. It's completely ready to go. And all they had to do was build. And so the city council demanded that they come up with an RFP, which basically is their plans to build, and they had to come up with it in 2 weeks, which is next to impossible. And yet this company invested a sizable amount of money into making sure that deadline was met, and they met it. And then after that, the city decided that they weren't going to just give them that property after all, and there were a few complications. They turned it into a bidding war, which was completely not necessary. FedEx won that building war, but you don't see FedEx building anything right now, or you don't even see any plans on the table. These people had everything ready. And so now we have nothing being built on 6200 Industrial Boulevard, and we have a developer that's stuck trying to develop on land that the citizens don't want him to develop on, that has wasted money at 6200 Industrial Boulevard, that is frustrated. And honestly, it would not shock me if this deal, like so many other deals before, does not go through due to just complete disorganization, because that's what this is. They had a great plan. They should have stuck with the plan. And now everybody is upset and the deal won't go through. It just doesn't make any sense. Don't take my word for it, folks. Just watch this video real quick of the developer speaking at the council meeting last night.
And thank you. We were working with Gary. We were talking with Gary about potentially alternative sites, because we have heard here, listen, right project, wrong place. So we actually identified a project or a property in Gary, 6200 Industrial Highway. But once we approached Gary with that property, the next day, Gary put out an RFP, which, on March 10th, that was due 2 weeks later on the 24th, which is an incredibly quick turnaround. We met that RFP, right? We had Carl working on plans. It was a 72-acre site. Part of it was wetlands. There was a big sewer pipe running through half of it. So, we rushed to do new plans for this site in 2 weeks, which is not easy. It's not cheap. And we submitted our RFP, and we did not win that RFP. There was another company, apparently, that RFP came out March 10th, and supposedly they're going to be building in May, is what I've heard. So, again, we were ready to pursue that site, but
Yeah, folks, so as you can see, the developer and his team were both at the council meeting last night, testifying before the council board. And as you can see, they're clearly upset. If you watch the full council meeting on Facebook, which is on the Gary Common Council Facebook page, you'll see that the developer and his team go into much greater detail of the fact that they have already, between both of the properties, well over $1 million invested. So even if they gave up the property at this point, they would lose a lot of money. They're not happy about the disorganization. They're not happy about, the potential money that they're about to lose. They're not happy about the fact that the council has decided to take this deal back to committee. So not only is the deal as it stands no longer being voted upon, it's actually been brought back to committee to be rediscussed. So it's definitely a terrible situation. It could be a huge loss for Gary's tax base. It could be a huge loss for Gary jobs. And it could be, again, just another upset developer. And the fact of the matter is when we have developers come into the city and, propose to develop here, propose to create jobs, propose to build buildings and set up businesses, has happened so many times before, and they run into this type of disorganization and these types of obstacles. Not only do we lose each of those individual deals, but, there's this such thing as word of mouth where, Gary becomes the place that people don't want to develop. And that is the main reason why in modern times today, not the reason 50 years ago why Gary declined and 70 years ago, but why today in 2025, Gary continues to decline and continues to no longer have business. I believe we definitely need a new direction. We need leadership that is willing to look at the bigger picture, to have a bigger vision, to have a greater plan. I had a friend in WLTH. His name is Jonathan Peterson. He is a business and real estate attorney, and he's also a zoning expert, and he hit it right on the head. Our leadership's just throwing darts at the board and seeing what hits. Most of the darts don't even hit the board at all. The ones that are hitting there's no total vision. There's no long-term plan. And, it's just disorganization, and we're not going in any direction, let alone the right direction. So that's where we're at as a city, folks. And, hopefully as things move forward, we begin to see the light.